Hi again, and welcome to another conversation with Mike. This is a short webette providing insight and key information on frequently asked questions concerning test connectors. And Mike, this is part of our series on the whole issue of product connectors and test connectors. And one of the real questions is, if you're down on the factory floor and you're dealing with these two alternative products, what really is the difference?
All right, thanks, James. Well, what are the differences? Geez, I could talk about this one all day, and you may just have to give me a little kick if I carry on a little too much here. But just in a nutshell here, let's just see. The major differences between a product connector and our custom test connectors are the frequency of required repairs, replacements required on the product connectors, compared to the minimal frequency of the custom connectors that we make, not requiring any attention other than basic use. Product test connectors, once broken, typically require replacement. At the very least, they must be removed from the assembly line and sent to maintenance for rework. Our custom test connectors are made up of very few components, minimizing the number of potential breakdowns. And the most consumable parts that we use are the spring probe contacts that are used to actually make the contact with the product terminals. And these can typically be replaced online without stopping production. Now, we look at these pictures here. What is the impact on the factory floor? Well, if we look at any of these photographs, but specifically the one on the right here showing us a piece of test equipment. Now, customer has a product he has to test. He goes and he's going to have a custom piece of test equipment designed, manufactured, and put into place on the floor so he can prove out that his product is 100% every time it leaves the door. Now, you're going to spend $100,000, $200,000 easy just on this little tester here that's going to functionally test out your product.
Wow.
Now, are you going to spend $200,000 to test your product and then finish it off with a $100 off-the-shelf product, this connector, being used for something that is not even meant to be doing? This is not meant to test anything. This is meant to be plugged in and left plugged in for the life of its use, period. Now, you're going to spend $200,000 on this great tester that's going to prove out your equipment, and you're going to finish it off with this $100 connector. Now, talk about the weakest link.
And it's not even intended for this purpose.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So what we're offering here is a solution where for just a little bit more, we're talking an average of $500 per connector, you can complement your test system with a connector that's going to last easily the lifetime of your tester and your program with minimal maintenance, minimal replacement. It's just a no-brainer.
And when you said it's $500 versus say $150 for a product connector, that's the initial purchase of the piece. But in fact, as we've seen in one of the other webettes, the actual cost at the end of a year, if you take into account replacements and maintenance, or even 5 years, it's dramatically cheaper to use a test connector that's intended for that purpose as opposed to a product connector.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Well, I think that to me really speaks volumes about the fact that when you're really dealing with this whole testing area, the key thing is to look into the differences between product connectors and properly constructed test connectors. There really is a huge advantage to using a proper test connector financially, functionally, and on the factory floor. So thanks for that information, Mike. And by the way, if you're interested in connecting with others in the test community, Mike now is leading a group on LinkedIn that's called, the name of the group is Automated Test Systems. And there you can join Mike and offer your thoughts and suggestions to others and get advice as well on your testing issues. Again, that LinkedIn group is Automated Test Systems. So thanks for joining us for this webette, and it's one in a series of webettes that Mike is doing to provide information on testing and testing needs. Thank you.